Yeah, episode 111 of an ongoing series in which I sit in my home studio with no pants on. I do have shorts. It's Blathering Live. I'm Ken Napzok. It is Thursday, October 24th. I know because I had a big credit card bill due today. You know, that's how you measure life. That's how you measure time. When are them bills due? When do the old checks come in to disappear? Yeah, that's depressing. We are here live, like I said, and we got people checking in. We got a poll ready to go. 8984M is here saying ahoy, ahoy. Great Simpsons reference. Still use it. I think it's about a 30-year-old reference. I don't know if they still actively use it on the show. Randomly trying to catch back up with the Simpsons. Yeah, that's right. I don't think it actually, during the years where people are like, oh, the Simpsons is bad. I thought they had some of their best episodes. Yeah. Ken muses about the Simpsons. Welcome. We are also going to have fun with your calls, your questions. We have David McKay here. We got Jared the Dark Jedi saying, what's up, Blatherers? I say, yeah, there you go. We have an official club. Blatherers. Laserbolt's here. Laserbolt might be here with a little bit of vengeance on his soul, on his mind, because last week during the NFL pick segment, I did go against the Detroit Lions, and it was a good game against the Minnesota Vikings, but the Detroit Lions did, in fact, pull out a victory. Laserbolt might be here to demand I eat a Detroit-style pizza, a real one. Addie's here. Scott is checking in on Facebook. You might be watching on Facebook or on Twitch. Scott is saying, sorry, Ken, football about to start. Skull Vikings. Look, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but you could have two screens. You could bring up your iPad, bring up this show, leave it just mute me. I'll just be like this. If you're listening on the audio version, I'm just moving my head around with no sound. It's hilarious, really. But I understand. Football is important. Miami Dolphins have a big football weekend as well. But not the only thing on our mind. We also have a poll. You can become a channel member and call into the show. And if you call into the show, you have to answer the poll. So Osvetnik and I believe it's Jared, the TIE pilot, answered already. 8 votes are in. It is split. Look at this. So here's the poll. The poll tonight is, what is your worst fear? Now, there's more than 4 choices out there, but YouTube only gives me 4 choices. So we got falling, pretty common one. It's kind of my leader in the clubhouse. I enjoy heights. The idea of falling and knowing for at least a certain amount of time that this is it, that you strayed too far, that something went wrong, and you got 2.1 seconds to think about it. That's one of my fears. Buried alive, I'm going to say I don't think about that one as much, but I can't think of MRIs, at least up. If they allow me, I've never had to take an MRI, but if they allow me to take an MRI face down, I might be okay. Face up, we got ourselves a problem. Third choice, admitting fear publicly. It's not just a cute answer. Could be a truth. And then we put the other. Now, if you choose other, and 50% of the 10 votes are other, you have to jump into chat and reveal it. I think Jared, the TIE pilot, said trains. That comment disappeared, as often the comments do when I see them before I go live on StreamYard. Then the comments vanish. Then we got Maddie Gunner, who has voted, I'm going to guess, with other and snakes. Dylan Barry of the Dylan Barry Network says, how about recurring stress dreams? I'm always showing up somewhere where I'm super unprepared. Oof, yeah, that could be a fear. And then Addie saying, my other is admittedly pretty dark. So if she calls in tonight, we're going to have to ask about that. That's kind of the drill. We are here in the United States of America just a couple weeks away. I think we're inside 2 weeks away from the most important election of our time. They say that and have been saying that for every election that I've been alive. And here's the thing. I don't think that's a lie. I think every big presidential election, in fact, maybe every election, including those down the ballot. You ever heard that phrase? Down ballot voting? Yeah, there's some people, names and measures down the ballot, but the top of the ticket, the top of the ballot, those big kind of headlining elections, I think they're all important, especially here in the United States of America. We do even affect the rest of the world, for better or worse. I had some people this weekend, had a great time at a wedding we'll talk about. And they were like saying, hey, look, other parts of the world are affected. Maybe we should get to vote in American elections too. I'm not against that. I'm not against that idea. Big election. We're rounding out. We're going to talk more about this on Anytime with Ken and Alden tomorrow. But it is kind of amazing to me that this very important election that is coming here following the 2020 election, which ended up being just historically bizarre and troubling, and the 2016 election, which oddly enough seems so innocent now. It wasn't, but it seems so innocent now. This election is going to be decided by pro wrestlers. That's where we're coming. That's where we're coming. We are forming up teams, stables, if you will, of pro wrestlers, and what side they're on. And it's been, if it wasn't so damn important, it would be really interesting to see how this has all worked it out. David McKay being snarky, saying my greatest fear is Ryan Johnson getting into the Star Wars movie or spiders. Spiders. I fear, I'm a big fan of Last Jedi and Ryan Johnson. I fear for Ryan Johnson if he were to get another Star Wars film. I don't want that to happen for him. I want him to go live his best life. Spiders I used to be. Matty Gunner's claiming that he said that. It was Matty Gunner. I drank a lot this weekend. Sounds like a thing I'd say, says Matty Gunner. Spiders I used to be afraid of more, but I can't be as much because they terrify Grace, as do most bugs, and I have to be there to remove them. Horizon, Phoenix Warp 1. Brave says, walking down the street and seeing someone I know coming towards me, and there's that awkward 10 to 20 seconds where you can't wave yet, so you just pretend to look away until you get close. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's so true, Horizon. I absolutely love those moments where you're like, or even sometimes if it's not someone you know, but you're like on a walk in your neighborhood, especially if it's just you, doing a little exercise walk, got your earphones or earbuds in or whatever, and you know you're gonna do the polite like hello or the nod, but there's that like awkward, like you're saying, 10 to 20 seconds where nothing's happening. It's a no person's land. It is no man's land of World War I proportions. And you have to do that like, well, I'll just stare. Oh, look at that house. Oh, yeah. Oh, is that an airplane? No, it's a bird. Oh, hey, hello. So weird. I also had, I was quite proud of myself. I was in a grocery store 3 days ago, my beloved grocery outlet, Bargain Market, and saving money, living my dream. And there was someone in there, and I didn't recognize him right away. And then I was like, oh, that's blankety blank. And I like blankety blank. Blankety blank is an okay person. No problem with blankety blank. But I just didn't want to talk to them. It had been a while. They're technically an ex-boyfriend of someone I know. It was ended great. They're still friends. But I hadn't seen that person in a while, and I hadn't seen this blankety blank person in a while. And I managed to successfully avoid him for at least 8 aisles, including end caps, and back of the house presentations, produce, frozen goods, whatnot. They never saw me. And then we checked out. We checked out around the same time, and we walked out, and we were parked 2 parking spaces across. I still managed to avoid having to talk to them. Yep, I'm going to say it. Absolutely. I'm a hero. Had a great time this weekend. We got some calls lined up. Blathering is going strong tonight, but I want to talk about my wedding experience this weekend. Also want to let you know that the short film I was in for Joseph Scrimshaw that he wrote and directed last year, The Nightmare Adorable, starring Hal Lublin and the wonderful Amy Vorpal, is finally available to the public. It had been on a nice festival run, so you kind of can't show it publicly when you're doing the festivals. But the festival run has ended. I think it got into like 20 festivals, won 3 awards. Very well received. Joseph is busy putting together and about to film a feature film. So check it out on his YouTube page. You'll get to see some of my acting. It's, it is what it is. Hal and Amy are great though, and I had a lot of fun, and it's out. So check that out. Also, want to highlight, as we been doing here, highlighting things of other folks of mine. If you're in LA, I highly recommend you do Paul Preston's The Movie Guys LA Film Locations Tour. I have lived in LA for 25 years. I know where a lot of the famous locations are. A while ago, took a tour with my buddy Owen Mugen and I. We got in the car with Paul, and we went for a tour. I think eventually our buddy Adam Witt joined us as well, or maybe he was there for most of the tour. But I love Adam. Saw him the other night, too. And it was a spectacular tour. So if you're in L.A. and you want something to do, or you live in L.A., you don't even have to be visiting. You're just like, I don't know. I've never really done the tourist thing. You think you know, but you don't. Paul has it all worked out. There's a lot of different tracks to choose. We saw the Back to the Future house and street. We saw the E.T. house. Some of it really, really close to me. We went to a location that was used in Pee-wee's Big Adventure for San Antonio, Texas, like the bus station. Insane how close it was to me. Absolutely insane how close it was to me. One of my favorite movies. Did not know it was almost around the corner for me. I had passed it many times. A lot of things like that. So recommend that. Look up the Movie Guys Film Locations Tour, or follow Paul Preston or Adam Witt. You can get a link to that there. I want to highlight new music. Still new music. It's still technically new music. You can say it's new music for at least 6 to 8 months. Maddie Gunner's band Mourner has a song Truth out, and a whole lot of other music out there from them. If you like harder edge stuff, and I do mean harder edged, check out Mourner's song Truth wherever you get your music, and support a wonderful, independent, hard edged, but straight edged rock and roll band. I spent a lot of time with Maddie Gunner this week. And it was Scott has a guess, and that's not correct. Good guess, but I would have stopped and talked to that gentleman. Let's see. Laserbolt says the Nightmare Double was fantastic. Ken Frank Napzok, thank you. He didn't. Here, going back to my grocery store story. No, Laserbolt, he didn't see me. I know he didn't see me. I was a ghost. I gave a lesson on how to avoid people. Lauren Romo. Oh, no. Lauren Romo's checking in the chat, too, here, saying, well. I know what this means. We got Laserbolt here. We got Lauren Romo here. They're going to start rubbing it in that the Detroit Lions won and force pizza on me. Pizza that I do want. Steve is here. Happy Thursday. We'll get some NFL picks coming up in a bit. Major problems. Evan is here. Wish I could stay and hang out. Work starts early tomorrow. Good night, boys and girls. Let's check in on the poll. We've got 17 votes on our poll tonight. What is your worst fear? 53% is the lead, and that is other. You have to answer that in chat, though. Don't sneak. Answer it in chat. 29% is second place. That's falling. Buried alive, 12%. Admitting fear publicly, 6%. So there you go. Andrew Cook checking in from the other side of the world, saying hello as well. I think it's time to get some calls going here. And then I'll talk about the wedding I was at this weekend. It was a lot of fun. It was just a top 20 fun night of my life. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. But before we do that, let's go to the man with a plan. I don't know if he has a plan. That's just something a radio man would say. We've got Jared the TIE Pilot checking in. Our first call of the night, off-host catch of the day. Jared, trains, huh? Is trains your fear?
I fucking hate trains without passion.
Okay. Just them running through town, them hitting you, you stuck at a light, riding the train.
Being on a train. Nope. Because here's the thing. I'll fly anywhere. Because if the plane goes down, that's kind of it. Plane,
Okay. Yeah.
Train derails. That's just rebar through my chest. And that's just learning how to walk again and just brain injury. No. Like, it's 2024. Why are we still using these death traps?
All right. Look, I understand that. Every time I ride a train, I'll take the Amtrak up to my hometown every now and then. It's a nice ride, 4 hours up the coast. But it's much like I discuss theater being an old style of entertainment. Trains are kind of an old style of transportation. I think not. I'd like them to be more effective. High speed rail out here would be great. That's been on the ballot, and that's been a mess here in California for years. But so, how many times have you been on a train in the last 5 years? Do you have to? It seems easy to avoid.
Last 5 years, no, but mostly because pandemic happened. But the thing is, I live 40 miles south of Boston, so
Okay.
it's a necessity to unfortunately have to use the Boston MBTA. And oh my God, if anybody from the area who's ever been there can just, all I have to say is the red line, and just all you hear is that squeakity goddamn wheel.
So, but how close is that to a subway kind of thing, an above ground subway, an L train or whatever it is, versus a train?
It's both. It goes New York style subway too, but it also goes above street. And the green line's pretty much all subway style. Yeah.
Gotcha. But I'm talking, not even based on where it is, but just train versus subway. It is a size thing to me. A train is a big.
Oh yeah, no, you will not catch me on a cross country train. There is no orienting expressing in my future.
Look, I understand it because there was, and this is we're having fun here, but I'll get slightly serious. There was a very serious train crash in Chatsworth, California, 10, 11, 12 years ago. I still work in public safety. And it was an Amtrak, and the driver was later discovered had been looking on their cell phone, texting, and missed a light on the track and ran head on into another train, I believe a freight train. Devastating. All my police officer buddies a lot of them were in the station with me when they had to respond, and it was this mess. And hearing some of how that happened, Jared, I'm not going to take your fear away from you. It's bad. It's gruesome. And it's not all fatal. So, but let me ask you this. Seriousness behind us. When did this hit in? Were you on a choo-choo train? And then suddenly one day you were like, can't do it.
I have had what I like to call my two irrational fears since I was a youngster. And that has always been trains and clowns, but not horror movie clowns or clowns that are supposed to be scary or stuff. Like, no. Legit circus Barnum and Bailey clown. Sure. Like, just no. That one's dissipated throughout the years. Trained, but I've also developed what I like to call, because I did 15 years in medicine before going to the federal work, where my thing that I never want to have happen, I will snap my femur, lose a foot, whatever. I do not want a kidney stone.
Gotcha.
Never.
You want to remain pure.
Just Lordy, nothing about that is good.
Yeah. And JMB checking in from Japan. The train system in Tokyo is amazing. They work from home now, so yeah, and that's we have Amtrak's fun. I like taking the Amtrak up the coast. I don't take it to Comic-Con or anything like that. But if I'm visiting my folks, it's a great simple ride. I get a lot of work done. But I'd like to experience a train overseas. Grace and I almost took the train that goes from like London to Paris and under the water, which I kind of had to not think of that. Like if we were going to do that, I had to be like, no, this train definitely floats on the water. But we ended up flying. We ended up taking an hour flight from Paris back to London. So we didn't do that. But I'd like to do that here. And okay. So Jared, I'm not asked, answered. I understand it. I understand it. But beyond your fears, how you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, not too much. I don't know if you've noticed my feed being in and out. I don't know how my audio is, but literally as you started the stream, I lost power after just getting it back. And then it came back again, hence why it got brighter, but I can't get the internet to, I don't know, things in life.
Look, I've been having internet problems too. Sounds like you've lost power to the house. I got a router issue, and there's nothing more frustrating because probably got to get a new router. And quite frankly, who could afford a new router? They're just it's more expensive. But it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating when the internet it doesn't work. We rely on this. Our entire life, businesses are run on Google Docs, and when it goes down, it's apocalyptical.
Have you tried extenders
Oh, we do
that
have.
just plug into the wall?
I have our house, that 1920 construction and shape. We have 5 networks and 3 extenders.
Yeah,
So
sounds about right.
sounds about right. I literally cannot go in this studio, this broadcast studio. I go to our bedroom, the prime bedroom across the hall there. Have to get on another network. It's 3 feet. It's frustrating. Dylan Barry says, Spectrum sent me a free router last week. I had their router. That went, so I bought my own, a fancy pants router like 2 years ago, and now that's gone.
Oh, don't you love how, let's turn that into the conversation. Why isn't it like everything built from like the 20s to the 50s when they were built to last? Now everything is built to break. And I get it from the capitalist side, but we've still put up with it. Like, there's no reason why your 2-year-old router should not be fully functional.
This is 100% true. This is a problem, and you could easily get cranky and very much sound like a father from 1952 talking about the good old days. But I absolutely the handyman that comes works in our house. We've known him for the last 5-6 years. Friend of the owner. We had to change out a ceiling fan, which was normal, and that was an old one, and it just something broke. But the part inside, the little clicker came, the little pull string, the part inside. He goes, that's an easy replacement. He went to the store, came back. He's like, dude, this is like 35 cents, and what I need it to do, it can't even connect. Like, it can't even connect. And this is like Lowe's. We're not talking. He didn't go buy it at some cart somewhere. Got it at Lowe's. And they just everything they're selling it to have you just go back in 4 weeks, and it is frustrating. Yep. It's frustrating. But to be clear, even if Donald Trump could fix that immediately, I'd still vote against him for the rights of other people to exist.
Just your principle on just being a human being makes you not want to vote for him.
Unless you're the Undertaker.
Oh, man.
The Undertaker just feels
that one.
He makes politics fun.
I was never the biggest wrestling person. I did enjoy it younger, but whatever. But Kane and Undertaker were that was my thing, man. And now it's just the
brothers
evil
of destruction.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yep. And Kane's costume was great. And I'm just now I just look at it and I'm like, that red meant more than we knew.
That it's something, man. It's been something. We're gonna talk about that more on Anytime tomorrow about how the election might be decided by pro wrestling this year, which some would say is fitting. Jared, that is some wonderful stuff. I'm so sorry about your internet. I'm so sorry about manufacturing of today. I hope it gets better. Final thing before I let you go, you doing anything big for Halloween?
Probably working and then finishing. I do a movie marathon of I call it my 61 days of Halloween. I start last month, so I've got about 14 left to go. So,
beautiful.
Making do with that.
You're living the dream. Thank you, Jared, for calling and checking in as always.
All right, brother. You be safe.
See you, Jared. Svetnik says, I used to service an AC unit in Arizona that was built in 1978 and running strong in Arizona. Meanwhile, most of the units have a major malfunction within 8 years. I'm telling you, as Ken Plume says, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Speaking of Ken Plume, that's right. I want you to do this favor for me. Check out his book, The Art of DuckTales. The deluxe edition is out there now. We got some links here. Ken, if you're there, feel free to drop links in the live chat. We want you all to check out this wonderful book. A lot of work put into it. A beautiful, big book, coffee table book. You know those great coffee table books that you get, you put on your coffee table, and you point at it all the time. You're like, yeah, I'm mother trucking on that book. This is one of those books, The Art of DuckTales by our buddy Ken Plume. Check out that as well. Don't forget our buddy Adam Knight's book, Cowboy Ending, book 1 of the Overdrive series. Get it wherever Books are available. Ken Napzok with you here. That's me. We are hanging out live on the Blathering. We do this every Thursday, except next week. Next week, we will be on Wednesday night because it is Halloween on Thursday. And I've got actual plans. I am going to a big party every year. My friend Jen Muro hosts. In fact, I just got a reminder email. Jen Muro hosts a big Halloween party. And it is an event, man. It is an event. I don't dress up. I don't do any of that. Other people do. And I enjoy other people's costumes. But I just dress like this and stick next to the snacks. That's what I do. That's what I do. We got a call from Addie soon. We got a call from 8984M, Brady, Kai Ray. But I want to shout out our buddies, Sean and Jill Sullivan. Jill Mansolino, you might know, co-host of Happy Hour. Molly Damon and Jill had that show going for a few years. I hope it comes back in some form. Sean Sullivan, Sully, appeared on the Schmodown. You might know him from there. Also has a great thing going called Rookies and Rule Books. Plays D&D, big D&D guy. They got married this past weekend, and I was honored to go. In fact, that was what we talked about last week, about the wedding food and all those kind of things. And they had some great stuff going. I think they had some mushroom stuff. I didn't see sliders. No, there was, those chicken and waffle sliders. But I didn't get to them because I had a snack. I had Thai food late in the day with Maddie, Gunnar, Kristen, John, Dan, and our buddy PJ. Shout out to PJ. All the love to you, PJ, this week. So I was a little full. So I didn't get hungry till the actual reception. I had the honor of going. Mark Ellis officiated the wedding, and I was Mark Ellis's plus one. And I can't say enough about it, about how much fun I had. And we all, sometimes I even have a joke about it. I do sometimes. Sometimes weddings are a chore, right? Sometimes you get that invite. And even if you love the people, you're like, crap, that's this week. And we got to go. This wasn't that. This was, I was so honored to go. Number one, that I got to sneak in the side door, so to speak. But two, the love that those two have, the friendship and bond those two have, the families and the family that was there, especially the Sullivans are a big, loud, drunk Irish family, and it's great. But the friend group, anything, it just was a perfect mix. And I love when you get that perfect mix. Everyone was in a good mood. Everyone was feeling the love and the vibe. And the ceremony was so short. Clocked in under 12 minutes. Clocked in, maybe even clocked in under 10. It was a boom, boom, boom. And then it was like, get up and go party. And we had a 6.5 hour party. Like, God bless it, the staff was ready to kick us out about 8:30, but we had it till 10:30. Amazing amount of dancing. I got to not only dance, but essentially do karaoke to Pink Pony Club. My pal Courtney and my new pal Mikel, we had a lot of fun dancing on the floor. Alex to that song. Maddie was there. PJ, Mark Ellis, 16 Coors Lights deep dancing. Molly and Alex, we got to bounce along to the Killers and we spent hours on the dance floor, and my back didn't hurt. The legs hurt the next day and the next 3 days, but just the joy overtook us all. Such a good vibe. So shout out and congratulations to Jill and Sean for just putting together something wonderful that was built around their love. So had a good time there. JMB says, sad disappointed not getting to those letters. I did eventually get to the one. And Addie asks, never got an answer on Instagram. I was probably hungover. Were there cream cheese wontons? No cream cheese wontons. Great dinner food, though. Great dinner food. A lot of things. A lot of pastas. A lot of rissolis. A lot of rizzoli aisles. A lot of chicken with a sauce. I couldn't even explain how good it was. I only got one piece. I should have got 9. Should have gone back for seconds. Great dessert. I had a chocolate peanut butter cupcake that I danced with. Open bar. It was heaven. Camarillo, hour north. Heaven. Absolute heaven. Brian Tiller's here. Brian Tiller just celebrated his 25th wedding anniversary. Shout out to the Tillers, but my wedding ceremony was about 10 minutes. Best way to go. Get to party. Look, if you got to go the distance with your wedding ceremony because of religious, cultural reasons, obviously I'm not going to take that away from you. One great wedding I was at was a Catholic Filipino wedding. 2 hours. It was a 2-hour affair. It was something. It wouldn't be my choice, but you know what? You're there for them. You sit there and you enjoy it. But if you got the option to go bada bing, bada boom, ba-ding, ga-ding, everyone dance, do that. Do that. Dylan Barry says, how was Mark's officiating? What's the style? Mark's officiating. This is, I think, his 4th or 5th wedding. And he is a in-demand wedding officiant. You can't call him a priest. He'll take a father, maybe a pastor, rabbi. He just says, don't call me a priest. I've done 2. I think Josh McCouga's the leader of our friend group. I think he's done like 5 or 6. Ellis is great. Warm. Of course, it's going to be funny. It's going to be smooth. It's like him hosting the Schmodown. He's going to hit all the beats. No one's going to miss anything. It's going to be clear. It's going to be concise. And it's going to be entertaining. And then he'll always throw in some warmth. I don't know if Mark Ellis believes in love, but his ceremonies are full of love. So it was good for that. It was good for that. And plus, he had some fans in the audience, not from the Schmodown, but from his his weekly stint on KLOS. That was kind of entertaining too. Some of their family didn't know. All right, let's go to the calls. We got someone who's got to answer this fear question because I do not know how dark this goes. Addie's on the line, calling in. And Addie, and I'm going to check the poll while I pull you in here. 21 votes. Other is still the leader. And again, if you vote other and what is your worst fear, you have to answer in the chat. But Addie, you said other and it's too dark. What can you share?
I'm afraid I'm just going to be the sad girl. But that's not my greatest fear. I'm afraid that I'm going to get the reputation on here of just being the sad girl.
All right. Okay. I'll tell you what. We'll stop right there. Everyone in chat, Addie is not a sad girl. She is a busy professor and got a lot of other things going in life. So whatever is about to make her sad in her confession, we are not going to hold it against her. All right, chat, can I get an amen? All right, we're on board. We're on board, Addie. What's the fear?
Dying on a Friday night and no one noticing until I don't show up for work on a Monday morning.
Yes, absolutely. I understand it. Look, I understand it. One of my favorite songs of the last few years is a singer-songwriter and rocker named Kath Myers. Had the pleasure of seeing her live a couple times now, actually, and last time with our buddy Brian Tiller, we went down and saw her. She's got a great song called "The Big One." And it is about her fear of dying alone in the big L.A. earthquake. But Kath is now recently married. So you know what, Addie? I'm not saying you need to get married. I'm not saying you could just have a good neighbor. But I don't fear this is going to, I don't think this is going to happen to you.
I appreciate that. Realistically, I know it's not going to happen either. But that is it.
Well, Lauren Romo's with you. She says, I feel seen by that one, Addie. So, your braveness in talking about this fear, Addie, is helping soothe other people's souls. You're a hero right now. You're a hero.
I'll take them where I can get them.
Beautiful. What's on your mind tonight on a Thursday for us?
I'm going to credit this one a little bit to my brother.
Okay.
Because he was texting me early about Halloween movies.
Okay.
We were having a conversation about whether or not certain movies were Halloween movies, and we're not going to enter that territory.
Okay.
Because Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
No,
but,
yeah, it's a movie that takes place at Christmas that you can watch during Christmas. But yes, yeah. I'm
curious. I want you to finish the sentence. It is not spooky season until I have watched.
My fiance get excited about all the fall and Halloween decorations because I don't watch scary movies.
I don't watch scary movies either, but I do like some Halloween movies.
Yeah, no, I don't. I couldn't tell you one because Nightmare Before Christmas. I saw it in theaters. I didn't like it. I don't understand why everyone at Spencer's Gifts and Hot Topic were buying decorations from and costumes.
Completely agree.
I think we need a lead on chat, Addie, because I want your answer. Laserbolt says The Great Pumpkin. That would have been my answer in 1979 if 3-year-old Ken was on the show. And I'm not saying that disparagingly to Laserbolt or the Peanuts gang. I said Peanuts gang, everyone. I just haven't seen that in 30 years. Steve agrees. Yeah, Steve's saying Charlie Brown. Donnie Darko says David McKay, coming in talking about a little darkness. What's your answer? And I'll get some choices from the chat, Addie, but I want to know your answer.
Practical Magic.
Practical Magic. What year was that? 97?
98? 97?
Okay. I'm gonna
Late
look that
90s?
1998. Practical Magic. Practical Magic. There it is. Yep. I got it up. Yep. Okay. That one.
Mm-hmm.
What about that one?
I honestly don't know. This was part of so when my brother called, he wanted me to tell him whether or not I thought Harry Potter was a Halloween movie, because apparently it's in Max's like Halloween movie guide on Max of like, here's all the Halloween movies you could stream on Max, and he and his roommate were having a fight about whether or not Harry Potter was a Halloween movie.
I mean, if anything, I'm thinking more of a like a Christmassy holiday kind of movie, because they mostly were released in December, right? Weren't they? When
and that's what I told him. He was like, I also think they're a Christmas movie, but that might just be because we always watch them at Christmas. Like, But as I was explaining it to him, I was like, well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define it's a Halloween movie. Is it that it takes place during Halloween? Because a lot of those Harry Potter movies, they're at school on Halloween.
Sure.
I was like, is it that there's witchcraft in it? Because then also, yes, Harry Potter is a Halloween movie. And that got me, but then the specific example I gave him was, I was like, but my thing is I will watch Harry Potter any time of year.
Okay.
I will only watch like Practical Magic or Hocus Pocus in the month of October, and then it goes away until next October.
And Hocus Pocus, catching up to some of the choices here. I want to hear the rest of your thoughts there, Eddie, because Hocus Pocus is in all caps from Tully Quinn. Hocus Pocus. Lord Romo's saying Nightmare Before Christmas. Laserbolt's going with Silver Bullet, a movie that freaked me out so much that I peed my sleeping bag at a slumber party. We got Hocus Pocus as well from Lauren Romo. And Dylan Barry, Hocus Pocus coming in big here. Ranger Donald says Halloween Town. Ranger Donald, boats are coming back to Fortnite, buddy. There we go. Okay.
I think it would be Hocus Pocus if I had seen Hocus Pocus earlier in life. I did not see Hocus Pocus when it first came out. I saw it in college. So it's one of those movies where, like, this movie is fine. I am no longer the target audience for this movie, and I have no childhood nostalgic memories wrapped around it.
Yeah, now, I agree with that.
Now, JMB is right. Beetlejuice is great. I just saw Beetlejuice a couple weeks ago. That was also a good time.
I enjoyed that film.
But
Quadface says Halloween Town, too.
I think it's Practical Magic for a little bit of the nostalgia reason, because I can remember going to Blockbuster and renting Practical Magic on VHS tape when it came out. It was the family movie one night. I would have been like 9 or 10 years old.
For Halloween, or just is it the themes?
It couldn't have been, because I'm going to guess that movie came out in theaters at Halloween, which means it would have been in Blockbuster in like June.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. The street dates on VHS tapes were a little different back there, kids. And then you could get them in those clamshell cases for about $98 if you wanted to buy them. Yeah. Quadface also in Casper the Friendly Ghost has a similar vibe to Hocus Pocus, I think. Yeah, I like this. I know what you mean, where it's just you can't remember where you maybe originally saw it, but you definitely attach it to the season, and that's how it counts. That's how it works.
And there's just something about it. I don't know, it's a good time. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are fantastic. Stockard Channing is great.
That's right,
Um,
Stockard Channing. These are some great trivia answers. I never saw it. I
they
never saw it. Never saw it.
they kill
Uh,
the boyfriend, and
it's
his
not bad.
ghost possesses Nicole Kidman. Like, it's just,
It's complicated.
there's so much there. There's
This
so
plot
much
twist.
there. Very young Evan Rachel Wood. Like, there's just so
Right.
much there.
See, one to study again. That one
That
probably.
late '90s soundtrack.
Oh, I love it. Oh, what is on the soundtrack? Oh, I got it. That's
Oh,
that. I was just talking.
I think
Go for. Well,
this
yeah. Let's
kiss
see.
is like one
Yep.
of the big
Faith.
like love story
So-
moments.
So, in the summer of '98, that is when I moved to LA. So my memories of Practical Magic are cleaning the theaters because I worked in a movie theater in my hometown the last 4 or 5 months to save up some extra money to move. And then I transferred to a theater over at Devonshire and Balboa in Granada Hills, California. And I would clean the theaters. And This Kiss by Faith Hill would play on repeat in every theater every day. And I moved to LA in August of '98. So into the fall, by the time I left the job in October, it was every time I went to a theater that summer, that song was playing. You got a great soundtrack here. You've got
Yeah.
If You Ever Did Believe by Stevie Nicks, Got to Give It Up Part 2, Marvin Gaye, Black Eyed Dog, Nick Drake, one of my favorites. You got Michelle Lewis. You got Faith Hill. You got Is This Real by Lisa Hall. Joni Mitchell, A Case of You. Elvis Presley, Always on My Mind. Harry Nilsson, Coconut. Michael Nyman, Convening the Coven.
I mean,
That-
Coconut
that's
is
a
the
big
famous
soundtrack.
scene from Practical Magic, though. Coconut is Midnight Margaritas.
There you
They
go.
make Midnight Margaritas.
Yep.
And sing
Okay.
Coconut.
Everywhere by Brand Van 3000 and Crystal by Stevie Nicks as well. If you're going to do a witch soundtrack, you got to have Stevie Nicks on it there. I miss soundtracks like that. I miss the run of late 90s and early 2000 soundtracks. I put together the Halloween edition of Pop Rock and Radio, available this weekend on my Patreon page or Mixcloud, or you can listen live on my Hall of Fame Music Radio in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And I played something from the Cruella soundtrack, Florence and the Machine.
Yes.
Great song, Call Me Cruella. And I was just lamenting the loss of soundtracks as a normal thing, that you can go to the warehouse or the Best Buy and pick up the soundtrack CD.
I feel like I got into a lot of artists through those like late '90s, early 2000s soundtracks, where I'd be like, I really like that song. I want more from them.
Yep. It could break bands, man. It could break bands. You get on a soundtrack, it runs. Doesn't work for everybody, but you could absolutely dominate a summer or a movie season with that. Regarding movies to watch that mean it is spooky season, Lauren Ramos says, I need to know what Grace's answer to the question is. You know what? It's not even really a movie, Lauren. If Grace is going to watch some really gruesome true crime doc, that's the start of spooky season. That's the start of spooky season.
Again, I could do that year round.
And it does happen here. This is great. Well, this is a great thought starter. So I think we'll ask some folks too. You could get it a little bit more with Christmas season movies for me, but I don't, even then I struggle just to have a holiday movie. It's usually a vibe. Lord of the Rings, as the trilogy has become this Thanksgiving Day tradition for so many people, and myself included. If I'm not watching football, actually this year will be it could be a conflict to watch football again this year. Anyways, but again, what's Thanksgiving about that trilogy other than just the memories? So
No, I agree with you that The Lord of the Rings is a fall movie. I watched them this weekend.
Yeah, it's a fall. Yeah, see, fall movie. Brian Taylor says Zach Braff got all the artists in the Garden State soundtrack together, put on a show The Greek next March. Yeah, including my old pal Bonnie Somerville. Had a great song on that soundtrack, which is how I first heard about Bonnie Somerville, even though she had been in Friends and acting and all that stuff. Great song on there. Yeah, love it. Andrew Cook's favorite soundtracks, The Blues Brothers and The Commitments. Oh, yeah, The Commitments there. Addie, thank you. Thanks for calling in. And all right, I need you to waylay that fear. You are not going to die on a Friday and be discovered on Sunday, all right? All right?
Try.
Maybe what needs to happen is you and Lauren Romo need to connect And then if one of you feels something going wrong on a Friday, you just text, it's happening, and then you can find each other. All right? Maybe that helps. Romo, you in on
Sounds
that?
good.
Okay. Thanks, Addie. Addie calling in. Love chatting with Addie. Not a sad girl club. Not a sad girl club around these parts. We're having a lot of fun. I hope you are as well. And Lauren is in. She's in. She loves the idea. She's loving the idea. Our friend Robbie Smith, who was seeing Cyndi Lauper, talked to Robbie this week. Robbie absolutely loves Halloween. Absolutely doing a big movie marathon, and we are going to try to do our biggest win soon to catch up. Robbie, of course, always kind of struggling with some medical issues, and he's got another surgery coming up. But Robbie, I don't want to confess something he's uncomfortable with, but knowing Robbie's not uncomfortable with anything, he once told me, he goes, yeah, I have a fear of dying alone and with all my medical problems and no one around me. So I said, simple. Here's my phone number. Something starts to go wrong, you FaceTime me, and I'll be there with you. That's all I can offer. I'll try to get you help, but I'll be with you as well. So offer received. So we should all, not just Addie and Lauren Romo, we should all form support groups so that we're not there alone. There we go. We are hanging out, and we got a poll that I'm going to check on here, and it is 24 votes. So if you're watching, 2 things I need you to do. Like this video. Yep, fight that algorithm, but also go answer the poll. What is your worst fear? Falling, buried alive, admitting fear publicly, or other, but you got to answer in the chat. Other is winning. Not surprised there. 54%. Falling, second, 25. Buried alive, 12. Admitting fear publicly, 8. You're all doing great admitting your fears here. If you're watching on Twitch, thanks for watching on Twitch. A couple of people checking out there. You can subscribe on Twitch. Maybe eventually I'll get back to some games over there. And then we also are streaming live on Facebook. We're still over on Facebook. Spend a lot more time on Threads. It's maddening. It's I can't turn away from Threads. I'm not active on Twitter that much. Occasionally I'll still retweet something or get something out there, but I'm not. Twitter's X, whatever's the dumpster fire, has been for a long time. But so I'm over on Threads. I can't turn away from Threads, but it's not even that's horrible. It's just it's bizarre. It's a bizarre world there. It's so I don't know, AI infused. It's not even just it's bot infused. It's just something off about Threads. It's off. We've got Liz Walt says, when I hit like, I always say, I'm going to allow this. Beautiful, beautiful. Troy says, the ocean. I don't bleep with the ocean. Yeah, I don't either. I grew up near the ocean. I grew up a mile from the Pismo Beach. Love going to it. Love walking. It's a cold beach. Put on a hoodie, head down to the sand. When I'm up in Edmonds, north of Seattle, always head down to the shore. Watch the ships sail across to Bainbridge Island and the ferry and everything. I don't go in. Too many horror stories. I this week for my day job, I'm writing a script for Mysteries of the Sea, and it's just there's like we don't know what's down there. Like 80% of that ocean, we don't know. We don't. There's parts of the ocean that to this day human eyes haven't seen, and some people worry that there's aliens down there or there's something. I'm just worried about like 60-foot squid. I'm worried about things we don't even know. I don't. And when they come to the surface and get involved with you, no, not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. And then things happen. I've had some bad. I had a couple friends who were lifeguards at Pismo Beach, shark attacks, those kind of horrible things. I had an old friend who in out there in Hawaii was in like one tooth away from dying from a shark. Shark ripped his leg almost clean off. Saved the leg. Everything was reattached. Everything was good. I'm good. I'm with Troy. I'm going to stay out of the water. JMB says, I welcome our 60-foot squid overlords. You might have to. Quad faces is not wrong. It's because that ocean is so vast. It is. We We call ourselves Earth, but we really should be some sort of water name. Coming up top of the hour, we got picks and more with Steve calling in about NFL picks for week 8. Are we up to week 8? Yeah. Tua's back for the Dolphins. You know I'm going to talk about that. And Ranger Donald says, cast me out to the sea. I don't care. But see, this tracks because Ranger Donald's obsessed with boats and Fortnite, and boats are coming back. He's happiest when he's out there. In the water. Laser Bolt on the water thing. Deep water freaks me the F out. I'd much rather jump out of an airplane than jump out of a boat. Same. I'm not planning to jump out of an airplane anytime soon. But I used to go to the lake. Now, lake's a little different than the ocean. I still don't want to be in a lake because you walk into a lake and it's like rock, squishy, pointy. I don't do that. Plus that Blob, horror movie that came out. I saw that as a kid, and the Blob came out of the water and killed these kids when they were necking. So now I'm afraid of necking in the lake. But the ocean, I don't even like to go on the boats. I'm good on boats. You want to go? No. Want to go whale watching? Nah. Not gonna do that. Let's take a call here. Like I said, we got Steve at the top of the hour with some picks. Big Lou says, am I late? No, Big Lou, you're here. Get in. Fire up your camera, Big Lou. Answer the question. What's your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear, Big Lou? But right now, 8984M is on the line there. Brady, how you doing, buddy?
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Oh, we can hear you this week. You're no longer broadcasting from the roof of your college or wherever you were last week.
Yeah, I'm on my old setup.
Lovely. You sound clear. So answer your biggest fear, and then I want to hear what's on your mind.
Oh, biggest fear. I answered the poll falling.
Falling.
But I'll give another answer on this poll.
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of fear other humans getting hate crimes, That's,
getting hate. Okay. Yeah. And you ride public transportation a lot?
Yeah.
So you're exposed a little bit. Yeah, I get it. I can't. My experience is obviously going to be a little different on a bus than what you're describing. But that's a real fear because humans are dumb and they do horrible things like that.
Yeah, you just get a look from someone, and I just know I'm walking the other direction.
You get the spidey senses. I got it.
Yeah.
But regarding falling. Here's for me, like I have no problem flying. My fear of flying is gone. I used to kind of, but it wasn't a fear of flying. And this sounds bargain barrel philosophy here. It wasn't a fear of flight. It was a fear of death. It was a fear of losing control. And once I realized, like Jared said at the top of the show, if we're going down on a plane, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I let go, and I have no problem. I love flying, but it is. Heights, man. Like, I love heights. That's why I love drone footage. That's why I think eventually I got to get a drone because I could enjoy heights without the actual height. But it is falling. I sometimes have those dreams. I sometimes have all those kind of things. And when I went up to the Grand Canyon, 2008, loved it. Gorgeous, beautiful. There's some pictures of me near a railing. And Brady, I'm gripping that thing so you could see my bones. My skin is so white and translucent. And part of it was because I had spent the night before up on the internet reading all the stories of people falling into the Grand Canyon.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, the standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon is nerve-wracking. I'm just scared of like the wind blowing and I'm just going to trip and fall,
Yeah. I can't do it. Anyways, those are...
Have you ever been in like an outdoor observation deck on a skyscraper?
Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower. Dear God, Grace was a hero. We get to the top. Had no problem getting up, walking the stairs. You go to the second level, then you take the elevator. Then we decided to take the stairs up to the tippy top. It was part of our tour. There's an interesting little office up there with Eiffel and Thomas Edison. And it's like some wax figures up there. And you get up there, and it's completely enclosed. But the wind, they warn you. Sometimes the winds, they can't even let you up there. And this was a day they were like, we're not sure if we can let you up there. Oh, wait, the winds died down. You guys can go up there. And we got up there, and it hits you. and you're fully enclosed. I couldn't move away from the wall. Grace had to like hold my hand and steady me like I'm a frightened chihuahua. And it was exactly what you're describing, Brady. You? How many observational deck freakouts have you had?
Yeah, I've been to the Eiffel Tower when I was a kid. I think my dad had a conference in Europe, so I was lucky enough to tag along. But yeah, the wind, it is really windy up there, and
It's crazy.
oh man, and I think you can sort of feel the building move, and
It had to be designed. Part of the genius of the
Yeah.
design is they had to figure out how to, let this metal monstrosity move with the wind so it doesn't topple. It's fascinating feat. Glad they kept it because their plan was to take it down. But shortly after it was built for the World's Fair. But man, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, Brady.
yeah.
Well, all the serious stuff aside, you dressing up this year? You getting on a bus dressed up as anything, Brady?
Honestly, this Halloween, I don't know. I might be. It's the World Series is going to be going on, right?
World Series will be. The World Series begins Friday night. Actually,
Yeah.
we'll be out, have a big show at Flappers tomorrow night for anyone local. And I'll be at a birthday dinner when it starts. But yeah, World Series starts. So you're going to stay. That's your Halloween, Brady?
Yeah, I might.
4M's going to stay home and watch baseball?
Watch baseball and put on all my my Dodgers gear. LA fan right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Opposing, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
this
all
World
right.
Series,
You know,
the Yankees versus Dodgers. I know people were
very-
dreading this, but
No.
the last time this happened was people were
I do.
speculating if Darth Vader was actually Luke's father. That was
Yeah.
the last time.
Yeah, 1981. And I think it's been too long for the greatest rivalry in baseball to happen on the big stage again in terms of rivalry, in terms of the World Series. I'm excited. As a Yankee fan, I'm excited. First time they're back since 2009, but I, as a baseball fan, Dodger Yankees. And, I get it. Two most expensive and rich teams, and they put all the money there in the field. Got it. They're still really good teams. It's the name of the game. And I think it's good for baseball to have them in there right now.
Yeah,
So.
and yeah, I didn't realize this, but this is the tied for the most finals meetings with the Lakers and Celtics, and that just never registered in my mind because they haven't battled it out. The Yankees haven't been in the October Classic in what 15 years.
It's I think they are. It's the same amount, maybe even more, in terms of 1981 to 1996, which is crazy.
Really? Oh wow!
And this is how time moves, not just as you get older, but I just think so much information in front of us, and everything moves so fast. 2009, that Yankee team seems like yesterday. I know where I was doing, what my friends and I at the time, my roommate and our friend were watching. Seems like yesterday. So does 1996. But when the Yankees got the series in 1996, the fact that it hadn't been since 1981 seemed like 60 years. It was like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that had to do with, again, probably my age. I wasn't, 81. I wasn't as functional as a human. But it's bizarre. Yeah, it's that weird thing of time.
Yeah, and man, I still think of like the Dodgers as like the struggling Dodgers back when I was a kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you still think of them as the Brooklyn Dodgers, which would have been fine. Fine.
I'm not a reincarnated Brooklynite.
I love that. Also, want to. Sorry, I'm checking. You ever get weird emails? I'm getting an email from. I think there's someone's trying to say, oh, here's your bill, and it's a fraudulent bill. This email alert just came across while I'm broadcasting live, Brady. Love that. Anyways, I got distracted for 2 seconds because I was like, oh, I don't owe $178, you fools. Anyways, also, while we're talking about the Dodgers and transitioning into NFL picks at the top of the hour here in about 1 minute, Fernando Valenzuela passed away this week, unexpectedly at 63, young. Fernando Valenzuela is one of the all-time great baseball icons. I really mean that. His career ended up not being a Hall of Fame career in terms of the stats. Injuries, arm toll. I mean, he had 1 year and 20 complete games back when that was kind of somewhat the norm. So I think his arm didn't last because of that. held on, played with the Phillies and Orioles, Angels, and Cardinals was his last actual major league team. Padres as well. His 1981 season, his rookie season with the Dodgers was outstanding, was record breaking. But what he meant to the Dodgers, what he meant to the Latino community here in Los Angeles, especially. I'm not the one to say that it healed any wounds, but the arrival of the Dodgers in LA is complicated and problematic when you dig
Very
into
problematic,
it.
yeah.
But Fernando kind of brought something to that situation, if you will. Again, I'm not the one to say it fixed or healed anything. I'm just saying the love was strong, and he is, because I grew up in Southern California and on the Central Coast of California. He was big. He was a larger than life. So shout out to Fernando Valenzuela, passing away at 63. Brady, you as a Dodger fan, I know you came later than Fernando's days, but thoughts on Fernando?
Oh man, yeah, I always imagined him as the broadcaster, and just
with Jaime Herrera.
Yeah, and all the older Dodger fans were just talk about Fernando, and and he's just
he was special. He was special.
I had to put this in terms of basketball since that's my main sport. It would be like James Worthy if he had passed, or what's I'm blanking on the name of the announcer for the Lakers, longtime color commentator.
Chick Hearn, Chick Hearn, which was absolutely lost.
Who's Chick Hearn's color commentator?
Stu
Lance.
Stu Lance. Yeah, Stu Lance. Yeah. Like that second tier kind of, but big in the hearts of fans. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel that same level. And the way Dodger fans talk about what he meant. I mean, in the online communities, everyone has Fernando as the second coming meme. They have Fernando as Jesus whenever the Dodgers do well, and
love that. Well, these legends live on in the highlights, I guess. But crazy. Yeah, Troy says post pointing out his first 9 career starts were Oakland games. Yeah, that 8-0 run in '81 was something amazing. Fernando Mania. I saw a game in 1989. He was the starting pitcher. And he was warming up in the bullpen. My mom took some photos. We took, old, not digital film. And we went to get the film developed. And whoever was there had stolen our Fernando pictures.
What?
the negatives were there, but the pictures were gone. And you know what? I got it. Brady, thanks for calling in. I'm going to get to the NFL picks, but I love hearing from you. And stay safe on Halloween. Stay inside. Watch the Dodgers lose, all right?
Now, Dodgers are going to win, I believe.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I'll make a bet with Brady. All right. Brady calling in as always. We got Steve lined up here to do some picks. We're going to talk about that poll. That's right. Check on that poll, everybody. 25 votes. What is your worst fear? I want to know. And I want to shout out. We got where did my comments go? There they are. Hugo in chat saying, I'll be a dad for the first time in December to a baby girl. I'll be 50 in April. I fear not. His fears. I fear not being able to provide for my family and still save money. Hey, realistic fear in these times, Hugo. But I'm sure, I'm confident you are going to come through in flying colors. And congratulations. I will be 49 in April, so you got a year ahead of me showing me how it's done there. No kids in our future here, but big one there for you, Hugo. And it's an understandable fear. Understandable fear. Everyone's getting excited for picks. Big Lou says, my biggest fear is riding as a passenger in a vehicle. I'd really like Lou to call in and explain that. Ranger John says, made my friend cry because I jumped up and down on the glass sky deck at the Sears Tower in Chicago, or it's called now. Yeah, don't do that. I would have punched you, Ranger Donald. Tomorrow night, says Dylan Berry, supposed to be the busiest traffic day in downtown LA. Lakers game, USC game, and the World Series. Ooh, hard avoid for me. I will stay in Burbank. All right, it is time for picks. And also talking about the poll, as he does every week when he's available. Steve is here. Steve, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. Great show so far. Awesome calls.
Oh, been great calls. I love our regulars. I love all you hanging out with me. If you want to call in, you know how to do it. Become a channel member or become a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/Napzok. But that's just the business. Let's talk about your fears, Steve. Let's get to those fears.
Yeah, so this one was tough. I voted other.
Okay.
And mine is basically heights, and it's really more of flying. I used to fly all the time as a kid, all the time. I had a ton of frequent flying hours by the time I was 18. My parents were divorced, so they sent me back and forth across the country for all sorts of reasons. So anyway, had lots of miles, flew all the time as a kid, didn't bother me, had a Game Boy. We were good to go. Batteries, all set. I grew up and I hate flying now. It absolutely terrifies me. Heights in general, I'm not good with, but I freak out.
What? Nothing changed because I think Jen Landa was saying on Force Center, like she had some stuff. She was fine and then went through some turbulence young, and that kind of affected her. You know, but you don't have anything that happened. You just nothing
traumatizing. Like, and everyone's had bad turbulence, right?
Right.
Nothing bad. I think it was partly like the rationalization of, I don't know. I convinced myself that being in a metal tube at 30,000 feet, going 500 miles an hour, something about that scares me. I totally understand how safe it is. I get the statistics. Sure. I'm more likely to get into an accident on the way to the airport. I get it. I'm a rational person. I really am.
Yeah.
I just don't like flying anymore. And see, I'm the total opposite. Like my dream is, if I didn't have a family and responsibilities, my dream would be to buy a 30-foot sailboat and just never see anyone ever again.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Look, I've been watching, my YouTube algorithm is weird this week, Steve. I've been watching a lot of, mostly I'll say dudes, but not always true, but dudes that live on boats. like the permanent boat dwellers, and they're on YouTube giving tours of their boats, and I'm like, I'm almost there. Like that's the most of them are permanently docked, but you saying anchors up, get into the ocean, you in the sea. Okay,
70% of the planet is water. Let's go see it. Right,
let's go see it. Okay, just as long as you don't go into it.
No, no, that's the thing. Like those are the hesitations. Anyway, but yes. Totally would rather be on the water than the flying. Don't like flying.
I love that. Addie says, Steve's a rational person. I'm not a sad girl. We'll declare ourselves tonight on the Blathering Live. Yeah, I love, Steve, your calls are always so smooth, as I always say. But you had a little bit of that, like, please no one try to tell me the stats on flying. I know. I'm normal, I swear. But I just fear I'm going to die. I understand it. I understand it. When I first started flying, I flew late in life, did not fly as a kid. We didn't really travel a lot of spots. So like 2005, a trip to Vegas, which is like a 33-minute flight, nothing. I was terrified flying Southwest there, got a little drunk. And I started a habit that when the plane takes off, I whisper, mostly into my hands, go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby. And I say it until the plane hits the air. And then it wasn't until like 2 years ago that I finally had reached a zen, and I don't need to say that anymore. My safety words are gone. The plane just flies.
If it gets bad for me, I am Martin Lawrence in the window holding my ears going woosah. So,
yeah. Well, that's fierce. That's flying. But now it is time for some NFL picks, as we do every week. Steve calls in with 5 big games for me to predict. And yes, if my Miami Dolphins are playing, I'm most likely going to take them, but we'll see what we do this week. It's a tough matchup. I think I kind of lost track last week. It was a busy weekend for me at the wedding. But I think I did okay, Steve, with some big losses, though, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, so you did okay. The Packers broke your heart because they only won by 2 points. They were favored by 2.5. Yeah. So that comes up as an L. So you were 2-3 for week 7. So that's the bad news. The good news is you are 15-15 on the season. So we are dead even. It's like nothing ever happened. Right. Let's start picking games. We're good to go. Let's win some money, right?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's win some money. That 4-1 week, I got a little overconfident last week, and I do want to acknowledge right here, right now, Steve. I picked against the Lions. The Vikings win, the Lions win. I picked the Vikings to win. But look, that was a crazy game. Anything could have happened. I wasn't off base with my pick. Just the Lions proved they were top of the standings team.
Well, spoiler alert, I put the Lions on the board for this week. It's going to be a tough spot though because of the point spread. So we'll get to that soon. But I mean, we're gonna keep them on the board until either the curse breaks or you get one of these right. But yeah, no, that 4-1 week really brought you back to even. That was a huge win for you. So here we go. Week 8. Philly at Cincy. Cincy is a 2.5-point favorite.
Cincy's a 2.5. They're at home. Up and down season for them. I don't like when they play in the mostly all white uniforms. I just don't know what's going on there. But I'm gonna say Joe Burrow's not gonna let this meandering season happen for too much longer. I've taken the Bengals into points there. The 2.5. You said, yeah,
2.5.
Sorry, you're an Eagles fan, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. But
it's okay.
It could happen. They're good. You guys got a good team.
It's business. Here we go. Pick number 2. Speaking of bad beats, Green Bay at Jacksonville. Let's see if Green Bay can keep winning you some money, bring you back from last week. Jacksonville is a 3.5-point dog at home.
Oh, yeah. Packers, points, to cover, to all of it. It's not going to be pretty. Don't like what's going on in Jacksonville. Apologies to our buddy Big Lou, but taking Green Bay.
Taking Green Bay, 3.5-point favorite on the road. Here we go. Game number 3, the aforementioned Detroit. This is Tennessee at Detroit. Detroit is an 11.5-point favorite. I totally would not have given you this game if not for the you know.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a big matchup here. It would be funny if I picked against the Lions, took Tennessee, took them to just blow everyone's betting books. And that Laserbold and Lauren Romo and chat would be mad at me once again, blaming me of cursing them. It'd be great for me to do that, but I'm also a reasonable man, like you yourself said, Steve, when talking about your fears. I am going to take those Lions, and hopefully Lauren and Laserbolt will forgive me.
Let's hope so. It's Lions to win big. I mean, Tennessee can, Detroit can win by 10. You pick Tennessee, and you're still a winner.
Yep, that's true. That's true, but oh man. All right, now I'm sticking with Lions. Sticking with Lions to win, cover, all those good things.
I love the conviction. All right, game number 4. Dallas at San Francisco. San Francisco is a 4.5-point favorite.
It's not going to be pretty. It's San Francisco in a cakewalk. It's going to get to the point where Jerry Jones is going to come down the field and start pulling his players off the field. The Cowboys are a mess. Good players on the team. I like. I'd take them on the Dolphins, but yep, we're absolutely going Niners, big way.
Love to see it. Hope you're right. And the last game, as always, the Arizona Cardinals at your Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 3.5-point favorite, and the prodigal son Tua should be returning.
That's right. That's right. He has returned. He has risen indeed. We're talking about Tua Tagovailoa. I could say it. It's not. It's look. Cardinals are good. They got tools. They're always kind of a toolsy team. Whether Dave Craig was doing his second chapter of his career there, Kurt Warner doing his third chapter of his career, Neil Lomax in the 80s when they were in St. Louis, they've always had some tools around them. J.T. Smith, one of my favorite wide receivers in the late 80s, Cardinals. But I got to tell you, the Dolphins, I think, have a little bit of a divided locker room. They're a little upset. The defense kind of holding court. McDaniel's not calling great plays. Something's going on with Mikey McDaniel. He needs to fix his hair, start combing it like a schoolboy again instead of a crime lord. But Tua's pissed. I watched this is how much I'm into the Dolphins still. I watched his press conference live. He was pissed. He wasn't there to play. He said, "I'm not wearing a Guardian helmet." Nah, I think he should, but he's upset. Tariq's upset. They're going to show the world what they're capable of. We're winning. All the points to the Dolphins. We're going to go 3-4, be back in the division here.
Taking the Dolphins at home, surprise, surprise. So our picks for Week 8, just to quickly recap, taking Cincy against Philadelphia, taking Green Bay over Jacksonville, Detroit and the big points over Tennessee, San Francisco over Dallas, Miami over Arizona. Those are your picks for Week 8. Ken, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. As always, one of these days, Steve, I'm going to have you email me. like to chat a little bit more about what we do here because it's been fun. So that's that. You all out there watch it. I break these out as clips, so watch the clip as well, just so we can have a little fun here highlighting the football picks there. Troy says, my favorite Cardinal is Tom Tupa. Despite being known as a punter, he's a quarterback for Arizona Tecmo Super Bowl. That's because he was also a quarterback. He was a punter, but he also was a quarterback. Oh, I love Tom Tupa. That is a reference, Troy. That is a reference that would make Josh McCouga and the afternoons of Josh and Ken proud. Lauren Romo says, good segment as always. I'm going to take that. As Lauren Romo forgives me for the Lions. But I got to tell you, it's so tempting to take the Titans to kind of, cover that spread. But I'm a pick 'em better. I go for the winners. I worry about the points later. It hurt me. But I just don't trust the Titans at this point to get even close. It's not going to be pretty. If it's another team, we'll do it. All right. I asked, and he answered. We got about 10 more minutes left in the show. I wanted to know about his fear, and we have a poll running. If you're just joining the show, I want you to get in there and answer that poll. 32 live viewers at this point. We got 26 votes. What is your worst fear? Falling, buried alive, admitting fear publicly, or other? Answer in the chat. That is winning. Not surprised about that. 54%. But Big Lou in chat said, being a passenger in a car. Big Lou, welcome to the show. How are you? I used your Big Lou's meat rub the other day. Giggity.
That's good stuff, right?
Yeah. You know what I put it on?
What?
Quesadillas.
Hey man, whatever you want to put it on, it's a good rub. It's a all-purpose and it's quite tasty.
It is very tasty. You're doing good work. Lou, did I get your fear right? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I tried to be, thought about it because you kind of sprung it on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I really kind of just sit and think about what is it that gives me the most, not going to do that. It's riding as a passenger in a car. Wow. I'm the passenger that's stomping the floorboards to hit the brake because you're not stopping fast enough. I'm like, are you going to put your blinker on? Because you got to put your blinker on. What do you? And I'm just, no, I'll stay behind the wheel, and anyone that wants to ride with me will get there, and it'll be just fine.
Yeah. Okay. That is. I have so many questions, Lou. First of all, I got to tell you this. I kind of understand it because it's similar to what I was talking about with the airplane. Like, I don't have a fear of flying. It was more of a fear of control. That it is a control thing. You're giving control up, and how much do you trust the person, right? I understand it. Have you had an incident, an accident, anything, close calls, anything that pushed you over the edge?
No, I blame my father.
Okay.
And the only reason that I do that is because he was very much the dad drives, period. So my whole life, the only person that I rode with was my dad. And because we had the extra cars, I was always the oldest of my friends. So I got my driver's license first. So I borrowed the car and drove all my friends because none of them had drivers. So I was always the driver, like my dad was. And it just was it just developed over the years into no, I'll drive. And that's just, and it's also, I like being home. And whenever my friends go out, it's like I'm a big fan of the Irish Goodbye, which is that everyone looks at, where the hell did Luke go? It's like, he's on his couch watching Star Wars again.
It's amazing. Absolutely.
I just, when I get somewhere, I like to do the thing, and I'll say hi to the people I want to say hi to, and then it's like, okay, time to go. But
so it all adds up. So it's habit, it's conditioning. Mm-hmm. My dad drove most of my childhood, but my mom, she's not a bad driver. I mean, not a bad driver at all, but cautious driver. But a little bit of the old school. But I want to clarify. I don't know about your dad. My dad, it wasn't like I shall drive. It just kind of was the dynamic at play. When Grace and I drive, I can count on my hand like less than 5 times that she's driven the car with me as a passenger, and I think 2 times I was coming from a hospital. So it just she's driving isn't her favorite thing, whereas I love driving. So I get it. But yeah, it's a fear of control. I'm like you too. I'm a little bit of the I don't say it out loud. I'm not a backseat driver, but I grip the oh shit
For sure.
handle a little more than I probably admit.
Yeah. So like anytime I have to take my truck in to get serviced or whatever, my sister will, graciously offer to come in and pick me up and give me a ride so that I don't have to do an Uber. Talk about anxiety.
Anxieties.
Yeah, just getting in a car with someone I know and love and trust is one thing. Getting in a car with a complete stranger behind the wheel, no, thank you.
I have even with a taxi. I always say this, cost aside, if I have the opportunity to get into a taxi versus a ride share, I'm going to take the taxi because in my mind there's at least a little bit of professionalism there.
Sure.
Also, if something goes wrong, I think I have a better chance of tracking down a lost item or getting recompense for something that goes wrong. And I know there's Uber and Lyft and there's companies behind that, but I can't escape the fact that the idea behind those deconstructing destruction type of services of Uber and Lyft is like stranger picks you up because they're going that way too.
Yeah, it's the meme that I saw going around a while back. Said when we were growing up, we were indoctrinated into the don't get in cars with strangers, and now we pull up a thing on our phone and a stranger pulls up and we get in their car and go, and just hope they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and look, I got to say, in Camarillo, I had to take an Uber to the wedding. And by the way, I know some people, because of early 2016, there was a kerfuffle with Uber and some of their policies. A lot of my friends refused to drive Uber, ride in an Uber. I get it. I think there are two companies that treat their employees equally as bad. The problem with Lyft, it's usually cheaper. There's far less Lyft drivers. I can't get a Lyft sometimes, so I have to stick with Uber. I always want to say that out there in case anyone's a-hole, what are you doing? But I had to take an Uber to the wedding location in Camarillo from the hotel, and it was a 5.0 rated driver. And that's the first time I'd seen one of those in a while. Yeah. And it's weird. You fall for that rating, Lou. You get in the car, it's some complete stranger, and something goes wrong. And knock on wood, I've been relatively good. There was one time, Mark Ellis and I were going to the Comedy Store. We got in a car, and the guy... and I say he didn't speak English, but that was not the problem. But it did create a communication issue when things were going wrong. He went on Mulholland Drive. If any of you have been on Mulholland Drive in L.A., it's famously dangerous.
Yeah.
It's famously windy. And
I mean, they made a whole movie out of it.
They made a whole movie. Some of the scenes in that movie were not in our car. And this guy, you could tell he hadn't been on it before.
Sure.
Because he was shocked by all the turns. And Mark and I looked at each other and we thought this might be it. Nothing happened. And then, 8984M is probably taking a bus on there. Mulholland Drive is scary. Mark and I again at up in San Carlos for the memorial. Four of us got into a car, and very nice guy. And he flipped a Yui. He lived there. We don't. He flipped a Yui, and there was a median, and he drove his car into it.
Jesus.
And that's the closest I can say I've been in an accident. But his car was fine. The tires were fine. Everyone else in the car jumped out. I got yanked out of the car by a Makuga family member. Yeah. And Alice and I ended up getting back in the car and completed our ride because everyone else was yelling at us. They're ready to sue the guy and everything. And Alice and I were like, it's fine. Yeah. But it made me think here. My rant ends here with Lou. We put our full trust in these complete strangers in these death machines.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, speaking of your adventures last weekend, the video of you and Mr. Ellis dancing to "Time of My Life" that was on Instagram was gave me great pleasure, my friend.
I think I have to ask if Matty Gunner, who's probably in bed by now out there, I think he's back home. Maddie, if you're not, say hi in chat. Molly Damon might have the full video because Maddie's camera is the first one that kind of hit Instagram. And in it, you see Molly Damon filming. I think one of them probably has the full footage. We danced for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was very, very wonderful to see.
Yeah, the clip you see is 20 seconds of a 2-minute dance session. that was going on. Before I let you go, Big Lou, and I appreciate you calling in on a moment's notice. Got a couple questions here. Addie asks, can we buy this meat rub somewhere? Brian Taylor says, hey, Big Lou. Hey, Big Lou. How would that rub taste on eggs? Answer that egg question and tell people where they can get this.
Yeah, I have actually used it in like breakfast burritos and stuff like that. Just kind of dusted on some eggs with some bacon in a tortilla. And it's a sweet heat. So it's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of heat, a little bit of sugar, or a little bit of smoke. I spent a long time developing this rub. I have yet to find something that I've put it on that it is not outstanding on. And it's on my website. It's just biglousworkshop.com. Just head to the store there. I've got Big Lou's t-shirts and my barbecue rub and project plans and stuff like that. So
it's Lou is a one-stop shop of nerddom and carpentry and cooking. That's not as great as a marketing thing as Big Lou's barbecue rub. It doesn't need to just go on your meat. It can go on your meat.
I have on my website that it says, like, my tagline, if you want to describe my channel, is if you take Alton Brown, Nick Offerman, and the cast of Monty Python, that's my woodworking channel. Just kind of shenanigans and woodworking and stuff like that.
It's spectacular. I'll check out your woodworking channel. I'll check out Laserbolt and his drone footage. I love just relaxing with you guys. So go to biglousworkshop.com, get that meat rub. I swear by it. It's good. I put it. I did that thing too. It's like I don't cook a lot of the meat in the house anymore. But enchilada or something like that. But I made some quesadillas the other day, made them a little extra spicy, and I thought, I have some taco seasoning, and I opened it up the old closet, the old pantry, and your name was staring back at me. So I said, we're putting Big Lou on my quesadilla. So
there you go. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
All right, Ken. Talk to you later, man.
Big Lou, check out Big Lou's workshop there. We're about done here. I am going to go eat some dinner. I just got hungry doing that there. Next Wednesday, the show happens on Wednesday. About the same time, I do believe. I'll check my schedule, but we'll have a Halloween night off. You all go have some fun. We'll be in the middle of the World Series. We might have the game on in the background. I can't stream it there, but we'll figure that out. Always appreciate all. If you're watching later, I appreciate you watching later. If you're listening later on the podcast feed, thank you. But if you're watching later on YouTube, like the video, leave a comment, join the conversation even after the fact. Good to have here as we continue to slowly move this channel forward into a new year. All right. Troy did say this about my Uber driver experience with Mark. In his defense, he didn't check off avoid medians routing option on the app. He hit it so hard. Dramatic sounds. We couldn't believe the car wasn't damaged. We thought tires were going to be popped or sideways. And I just laughed. But in that kind of like, I think I just died kind of laughter. But it was good. But it was good, he said, to his near death. That is it for this week. Don't forget, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, that'd be a great thing. There, you can get my Young Guns movie commentary. I say it all the time, but I am actually making some plans for Young Guns 2. Hot Burbank Nights, full 40-minute comedy set for me is on there as well. If you go to my website, KenNapzok.com, you go to my shop. Hey, the holidays are coming up. Why don't you get a copy of Why We Love Star Wars signed for someone in your family or maybe yourself all over again. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye.